uh, Board of Alderman meeting in session, special meeting, April 12th, 2023 at 6 p.m. First order of business is a pledge of allegiance. Will you join me in a pledge of allegiance? I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next order of business is an invocation. Is Ruth here? There's she is. Thank you, Ruth. Amen. Thank you, Ruth. Kim, would you call the roll?
Mayor Gatway,
Here.
Alderman Coslow,
Here.
Alderman Johnson,
Here.
Alderman Riley,
Here.
Alderman Sansone,
Here.
Alderman Underbach,
Here.
Alderman Wandling.
Here.
Okay, there's no consent agenda. There's,
I'd like to move to hold a closed session pursuant to RSMO 610.021, sections 1, 2, and 12.
okay, we got a motion for a closed session pursuant to. At a second? Kim, would you call the roll?
Alderman Coslow,
Hey.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Underbach,
Aye.
Alderman Wandling.
Aye.
Alderman Sansone,
Aye.
Alderman Riley.
Aye. Okay, well, the board will go into a closed session and as soon as we're finished, we'll be right back.
Secrets, thanks. Secrets.
Yeah.
Sure, I'm gonna sing for you. Without the nice.
Favor? Anything else, Tom? Anybody in favor? Anybody opposed? What? Taxes, giving away free gifts. Are we gonna vote? Let's vote. Oh, guys. Raise your hand. Raise your hand.
Yeah. Good. Like, yeah. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Like, over the
Let's see.
Council Brent, what I was looking for, Council Brent, on the face. No, I best started some of it, I was like.
Okay, let's call the Board of Alderman meeting back to order. Apologize for the long.
Helpful. You had enough to do.
Are you finished out there?
Move on.
Yeah. I apologize for going long, but some things were dropped on us at the last minute that we had to discuss. And I think we've come to a solution. So the next order of business is the public comments. Kim?
Jim Cook.
Testing, testing. My name is Jim Cook. I'm with Mia Rose Development and also represent Calco in the Encore project here in Darden Prairie. We've been made aware of a situation with the school board, and we've met with the city here the last hour in closed session and would like the opportunity to do one reading on this tonight in an attempt to give us an opportunity to meet with the school board to see if we can, or the school board in an attempt to work something out with this project. And just wanted to announce that to everybody here. So. Does anybody have any questions about that?
Glad you guys could join us tonight. My name is Sherry Hawes. I live in Whispering Pines. I've been a Dardine resident for 27 years. We've all heard the astounding data presented by Wentzville School District regarding the impact the Prairie Encore Chapter 100 tax abatement will have on our school. The Wentzville School District serves 5 communities. 5. Darting Prairie, Wentzville, O'Fallon, Lake St. Louis, and Forestell. All of these communities are growing. All of these cities are issuing tax abatements. Separately, it may not seem like a big impact to you, but collectively, it is having a huge negative impact on our school district. This is not just one city and one tax abatement. This is about the compounding effect of 5 cities making blind and selfish decisions. On April 8th, Representative Richard West did a segment on his talk show, The Richard West Show. I encourage you to listen to the segment starting at the 20.06 mark, where Representative West speaks about the impact of Chapter 100 tax abatements in St. Charles County. In 2022, the impact of St. Charles County school districts are totaled $26 million. That was just one tax year. The impact in 2021 was $18 million, totaling $44 million over just 2 years. And that's just Chapter 100. Those numbers do not include TIFs, TDDs, CIDs, et cetera. Who makes up for that? The taxpayers of St. Charles County do. So stop insulting our intelligence by sitting up there meeting after meeting, obscuring the facts and trying to tell us that these abatements don't cost the residents anything. Neighboring cities should be working together, having open discussions and transparency with one another to ensure the independent decisions they are making do not collectively cause huge compounded and negative impacts on our most important tax-supported resources. The selfishness of the elected officials of these communities is reprehensible. In the race to be the biggest, you are failing those who are most valued residents, our schools and our children, the single most important factor of any thriving community. This is no longer a NIMBY issue. This is an issue concerning the future of our school districts, a district that is already facing a future crisis. For those of you who are on the fence about how you will vote tonight, or for those of you leaning towards an A vote, I ask you, what legacy do you want to leave at the end of your term? One that took the burden off of big money developers and placed it on our school districts and the taxpayers of this community, or one that protects the future education of our children? For anyone sitting in this room, I encourage you to reach out to your state representatives and express your concerns regarding what these tax incentives are collectively doing to our state school districts. Encourage them to enact legislature that places higher regulations on cities choosing to issue these tax incentive packages. 5 minutes is all it takes to make a phone call or send an email. We need to demand change not only within our local government, but these changes need to be made statewide. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Marco Sover. My wife Barbara and I live in Cruden Bay Court. Tonight, I want to share with you a comment from a resident from O'Fallon who has expressed significant concern about the funding strategy for the Prairie Encore. And I quote, "I do not live in Darting Prairie, but I have an opinion on the funding plan in general. Think about how many families will be benefiting from the Darting Prairie and county resources during the years that the developer pays zero real estate taxes and rakes in profits. As a resident of one of the other municipalities that will have to make up the difference in tax dollars, I am ticked. These development incentives do nothing but harm to the long-standing businesses in the county. As a part owner of a local manufacturing company, our 2022 real estate tax bill was over $30,000 for 1 year. And our business doesn't add hundreds of new residents who do not pay real estate tax, strain infrastructure resources, and put a burden on local school districts. I am so sick of politicians putting growth over the interest of the people they're supposed to be representing," and I end quote. This is but one of many examples showing that all citizens in the county will be affected by your decision tonight. Some of you may be dismissing our comments, chalking them up to the not in my backyard minded individuals, also known as NIMBYs, as I learned from Major Gotway last December. I find the use of the word NIMBY derogatory and disrespectful. It is used by developers and politicians as an excuse to ignore opposing concerns and discarding contrasting points. On March 9th of this year, a few days before you vote, you approved the Prairie Encore development. The developer, Tom Kamen, used the word NIMBY during a panel discussion, which was published in the Metro Wire media. And I quote, multifamily has been undersupplied for decades. Zoning, permitting, and NIMBYs continue to be problematic. A lot of new product is coming online in St. Charles County. I end my quote. NIMBY implies a limited and self-centered view. My concerns go beyond the Inverness subdivision in which I live, in this city, this county, and this state. I am concerned about our children's education. I am concerned about the lack of vision of government leaders and involvement of their constituents. I am concerned about our country's ability to address future environmental problems. In actuality, people with limited views are those who have called me NIMBY. My backyard is much larger than this city. If you approve the funding for Prairie Encore today, you're making a choice based on a small backyard. You're ignoring the quality of the education of our children and the long-term success of our community. If approved between the Prairie and the Prairie Encore developments, you're putting well over $100 million in Tom Kamen's hands, a man who does not respect a different view. Will he respect yours when you disagree? Thank you.
David Miller. David Miller. David Miller.
Board of Alderman, my name is David Miller. I live in Cruden Bay Court. As you guys have all seen me before, here to do a quick math lesson since we're talking about education. Through the town hall meeting that Tom Kamen and Mia Rose had with us at ICD, the target point for the average rent of unit at the Prairie Encore was about $2,000 per month. At 190 units, that's $388,000 per month. Over 12 months, that's over $4 million in revenue in rent alone from the apartment complex. Now that we've looked at the math, how can he possibly not have some money to pay his property taxes from that revenue? I got a 3% raise last year. That's all I got, but I'm paying my taxes. I'm happy to pay my taxes. I am here to support the school district, members of the board, and the rest of the community to say it's enough that we're giving the TDD and the CID 2% to pay back the infrastructure costs to the developer. Enough is enough. For those of you that have not voted nay on any of these votes, it's time to take a look at the crowd here and listen to what's going on in your community and support the citizens in a representative democracy. We don't need to make that vote tonight. We can postpone it till the new older people take their place next week, or we can vote it down tonight. Choice is yours. Thank you for your time.
Shannon Stoley.
Mr. Mayor, Board, good evening. I'm Shannon Stoley. I'm a director on the Winslow School Board and also a parent. I oppose the tax abatement on the agenda and under consideration tonight. Tonight, I'm also going to talk about some numbers. Let's start with 12 years and millions of dollars. I'm hoping you've asked what those numbers mean where you sit. I also have asked myself that question where I sit on the school board. This is what it means for our students. A student's first day of kindergarten, from the time he or she walks across the stage to receive their diploma, is 13 years. There's another number, 13 years. 13 years is an entire student career in the Wentzville School District. This deal, if approved tonight, potentially impacts every kindergartner enrolling for school next school year. Right now, here's another number, 1,206 students. That number is not even final. Students are still enrolling. Do you want to make a decision tonight that will directly divert resources, much needed money, away from those students the entire time they're in school? Again, from kindergarten to 12th grade. Students now more than ever need our help. They need community support. Please do not turn them away. Please make a decision tonight that allows the district to offer a quality and sustainable education. Local taxes are the largest single source of revenue for the school district. Please vote and stand with the students. Please vote and stand with their futures. Approving the tax abatement is not sustainable for students or their futures. Please remember we are a community and all the community should be considered when making a decision of this magnitude.
Laura Gettemeyer. Laura Gettemeyer.
Good evening, Laura Gettemeyer. Regarding the Prairie Encore project, we again ask the Board of Aldermen to consider the following. The proposed 12-year tax abatement will impact Wentzville School District, St. Charles County Library, and St. Charles Community College. Residents have asked the city what financial harm will come to the three, but have received no feedback. For example, what is the financial impact from the development with and without tax incentives? Wentzville School District identified an amount, $9.5 million, at a recent Darden Prairie Board of Aldermen meeting. This figure appears to be challenged by the city. My response would be that there is no fair or just amount of tax revenue that these entities should lose. Why would taking money away from a school district, library, or community college ever be considered a great idea? Again, remember that this area is not a blighted area. We do not have to lure developers into our community by dangling tax incentives. This practice is a disgrace, burdening residents with having the probability of Wentzville School District proposing tax increases to residents to survive, or having sales tax premiums assessed at the businesses within the development, which will likely be paid for by the residents. Either way, Darden Prairie residents would ultimately be funding these tax incentives. Is this the way our city should function? Giving developers tax breaks and forcing our residents to personally make up the difference. Two former Darden Prairie mayors have weighed in on Prairie Encore, David Zucker and Marilyn Field. Regarding tax incentives, former Darden Prairie Mayor Field reiterated that the area is not blighted and therefore tax incentives are not warranted. Former Darden Prairie Mayor Zucker challenged the projected sales tax revenue by pointing out the coffee shop would have to sell a cup of coffee every 90 seconds to meet the projected sales tax revenue, which appears to be unrealistic. Residents are also opposed to the 4-story apartment complex. If you look around, 4-story apartment buildings are not the norm. They are the exception. Plus, there appears to be a glut of apartment buildings being built in our community. Do we really need yet another apartment building, especially one that is financially burdening our residents? Please consider this when casting your vote tonight. Thank you.
Dr. Danielle Tamala.
Good evening. My name is Dr. Danielle Tormala, and I'm the superintendent of the Wentzville School District. Earlier today, I provided the city with the district's written comments on the proposed plan for the Prairie Encore development. I've also provided the city with the Board of Education's resolution in strong opposition to this project. The district thinks that the project exceeds the scope of what is permitted under Chapter 100 since the definition of a project for industrial development does not include residential apartments or commercial and retail space. Per Chapter 100, the city is also required to provide the district with notice and a copy of the plan no less than 20 days before the plan is to be approved. The district received notice on March 27th, which was only 16 days ago. The district was then provided an updated plan with a revised cost-benefit analysis this past Monday, just over 48 hours ago. It is the district's position that these deficiencies make this project unlawful. The city calculates the value of the completed project to be only $24 million out of the estimated $66 million in bonds, which greatly diminishes their interpretation of the tax revenue owed to the district. In the most recent cost-benefit analysis provided by the city, the abated taxes owed to the district is approximately $3.4 million over the 12-year abatement period. The district continues to disagree with the calculation methods used by the city and asserts that the actual revenue loss for the district would be much higher over the abatement period that is scheduled to end in 2042. This morning, we were able to obtain the Master Development and Performance Agreement, which contains a clause for a cap to the maximum abatement allowed. Based on the city's most recent calculations, the district could potentially have approximately $3.725 million in taxes diverted during the tenure of this abatement period. While this is certainly better than the district losing out on approximately $9.5 million, this still diverts millions of dollars away from the students in the Wentzville School District. This is on top of the original Prairie development at Bryan and 364 that will abate taxes through 2034, and according to the city's calculations with that project, will divert an additional $4.4 million away from the district. Not only will this project take away much needed funds from the over 17,500 students that we serve on a daily basis, but it will undoubtedly add more students through the apartments and by the families that move to the area for the jobs that are created by the project. This is nonsensical. Adding to all of this is the fact that there was a staggering lack of communication from the city regarding this project. We didn't even become aware of the project until late March, and the city wouldn't schedule a meeting with us until yesterday afternoon. This is hardly open communication and mutual cooperation, both of which I discussed with the city during a meeting that I requested this past fall. We're giving the Board of Aldermen a choice here. You can delay approval of this project and come to the table to discuss pilot payments that will help mitigate the impact of the project on the district, or you can proceed with approval, take vital funds away from the district, and put the city in direct conflict with the district through litigation. I appreciate Mr. Cook's change of heart. I appreciate Mr. Cook's change of heart this evening in contrast to yesterday afternoon and wish to continue conversations with the district. That would be wise. I'm asking all of you to do the right thing, follow the law, and vote no on this plan this evening. Thank you.
My name is Richard Angevine. I'm the Chief Financial Officer of the Wentzville School District. This morning, I received these documents at the last minute. By the way, this is 309 pages of legal documents related to the city's industrial development project. 250 pages of these documents I had never seen before and had never been given to me. When I received the documents this morning, they were not received from the city. This includes the Master Development and Performance Agreement being discussed this evening. There is no way that I could fully vent this agreement and the related legal documents on behalf of the school district within this time frame. It is clear that the school district has not been included in the process of negotiating this agreement. With this agreement as written, the city is abating millions of tax dollars which would normally flow to the Wentzville School District. I have been informed that someone told various news agencies that I agree with the calculations and assumptions included in these abatements. Anyone who says that I have agreed to these numbers is not being forthright and honest with the public, and I would certainly question their intentions. Section 5, by the way, of the city cost analysis, which I did get to in the documents I received today, says specifically, this is the city cost analysis. We do not assume, I'm going to state this verbatim, we do not assume any responsibility for the accuracy, completeness, or fairness of any of the information provided to us, and we have not independently verified the accuracy, completeness, or fairness of such information. I have not vouched for the numbers included in here, and I'm not sure that the city is completely vouching for them either. The district anticipates that it will need $200 million to $250 million in new square footage in the next 5 years to keep up with the expansion and the growing population of this city and the school district as a whole. We have less square footage per student than we did 20 years ago. We're tight on space and we need more. I'm going to say something here and I want everyone to hear this very closely. Our current 5-year capital funding plan does not include a tax increase to your constituents for the construction of new buildings. I will say that again. Our current 5-year capital funding plan does not include a tax rate increase to your constituents for the construction of new buildings. This is because the school district's 5-year financial plan is based on anticipated construction and future taxes on commercial and residential properties. By voting on this abatement, you are pushing the taxes from the development to your constituents, from the developer to your constituents, in the hope that the district can absorb the abatement. In the hope that the district will not need to revise its 5-year plans, which are based on future constructions, while hoping that a tax rate increase on the residential homeowners in your community will not be necessary because of abatements like this one. Hope is not a strategy. Abatements on property that is not blighted will eventually be developed anyway. Will only pass necessary school taxes onto as existing residential homeowners. Thank you.
Cheryl Bratton.
My name is Cheryl Bratton. My husband and I live on Croon Bay Court in Inverness subdivision. Whether this is your last night on the board or one of many more, when you took your oath of office, you became a standard bearer of Darden Prairie City government. Quoting Henry Clay, Speaker of the House, Secretary of the State, and the driving force behind the Missouri Compromise of 1850, government is a trust, and the officers of the government are trustees, and both the trust and the trustees are created for the benefit of the people. This evening, the only way you can benefit the people is by postponing a vote on bills 23, 15, 16, and 17. The residents aren't asking for a postponement as a way to ensure a desired outcome like the mayor is, and I stand behind my opinion that tonight's meeting is an abuse of Mayor Gotway's power. Tonight's agenda could have easily waited another 168 hours for next week's regularly scheduled meeting, but I don't know why we're surprised by anything anymore. For 4 months, we've received conflicting and confusing information about the Prairie Encore, Mia Rose's need for incentives, and the effect on the community. There's been no attempt by the city to educate or share numbers. Sorry. Our questions and numbers have been dismissed, deflected, and deferred. Frankly, we don't know what we don't know. because we've never had real access to the information we've repeatedly requested. In the Post-Dispatch article, Mr. Knowles pointed out that Wentzville schools will receive $65,000 a year in unabated personal property tax. That's not exactly a windfall. Instead, it's equal to 1.5 first-year teacher salaries. Today's first graders will be affected by your vote through the year of their high school graduation, 12 years, 2035. Participating in a vote tonight means you're more concerned with the financial future of Mia Rose than you are of school children. It means the only shining light on Darden Prairie is the negative glare of news media spotlights provided by Fox 2, the Post-Dispatch, and KMOV. Again, government is a trust, and the officers of the government are trustees. And both the trusts and the trustees are created for the benefit of the people. One other statement. The conference that Mr. Hover referenced a little bit ago when Mr. Kamen referred to NIMBYs being problematic, another member of the panel described multifamily as a gold mine. And I assure you, he didn't mean for the city or the school districts.
Mark Hunter. Mark Hunter.
Hey, good evening. I was really hoping the crew from Mia Rose was still here, but so I was really going to address them tonight. It's been pretty clear throughout this that the mayor and the supporters on the board really haven't listened to the people in Ward 1. Even though in the recent election, Laura Gittemeyer defeated Casey Riley 373 to 39. There was also a second candidate who had 95 votes. I would say that's a pretty clear, very loud opinion from the people in Ward 1. It's not just the group that has been showing up to these meetings. This is a lot less than over 400 people. So that was really going to be the message to Mia Rose is it's not the noisy minority. This is a lot of people that are very angry and very upset with what the plan is going to be. So just a couple points that I passed along to Mia Rose. The opposition that you see here is not going to stop, regardless of the vote tonight. Our mission is going to be to make this as difficult as possible on the people who are not representing us and Mia Rose. I just want to kind of wrap up with a little visualization exercise. So let's imagine a ribbon cutting ceremony for Project Encore. Should be a bright, sunny day of celebration for Darden Prairie and Mia Rose. This is a big project. I'm in the construction and project management business myself. These big projects are the kind of things you'd look back on when you retire and go, that was a big freaking deal. Instead of a bright sunny day of celebration and cheering citizens and a really wonderful ribbon cutting ceremony, there's going to be an angry mob letting everyone know what has happened and how Ward 1 feels about this. That's well over 400 people who showed up and voted. So that was my message to Mia Rose. Just trying to talk from like project person to project person. It does get into legacies and how you feel about things when you wrap things up. And this is not going to check any of those feel-good boxes. Thanks.
John Whitworth.
Good evening, Board, Mayor. My name is John Whitworth. I had 3 kids that went to Winslow High School and grade schools. All their schooling was through there. It was a great school district for us. And, you know, I live right outside Garden Prairie, but, I represent a bunch of workers, I'm an executive board member at the Tri-County Labor Club. And, Mia Rose has shown in the past that they hire, you know, out-of-town workers that don't not pay their standard wage for the area. And it's really detrimental to middle-class workers here in St. Charles County that do a lot of the work that is being done in Garden Prairie. And, you know, I can't speak as good as the Winslow school board members. They did an excellent job tonight. Makes my fight seem small compared to, you know, it's the kids that matter. And I want you to take that into account. It's their whole school career that they're not going to have taxes paid on that. Thank you.
Joel King.
Joel King, 2 Toussaint Drive. I don't have a whole lot to add. In fact, it'll probably be the shorter speech of the night. I guarantee that hopefully you guys did listen to all these awesome speeches that were given. And the only thing I can add to that is ditto.
Clark Morelli. Clark. Amy Pat.
Hello, Mayor and Alderman. My name is Amy Pat, and I live in Canvas Cove subdivision. Out of all the development proposals that you may hear during your tenure as Alderman or Mayor, which one is going to matter 5 to 15 years from now, when your children and grandchildren are sitting in overcrowded and underfunded classrooms? How will you feel when your grandkid is cut from the basketball team because the school district only has funding for 7 athletes instead of the traditional 10? How will you feel when you look at the disappointment on your niece's face when her marching band season is cut short because she's not able to make those memories her senior year due to lack of funding? How will you feel when you have a child that desperately needs speech therapy, but you're told due to funding and resources that there are other kids who need it more? In 2011, I moved from a failing school district to provide my daughter with opportunities and a better education. Within her first week at her new school, I received a call from her teacher who asked, "What is going on with her speech? She should have sounds that I'm not hearing." That week, he completed the paperwork to get her evaluated, and she received the speech therapy that she needed. In the failing district, there were 24 children in her class. In Darden, there were 17. A mere 7 kids difference made the difference between her having speech therapy and having a teacher that had the time to fill out that paperwork and go the extra mile. Today, that same girl who struggled with saying her own name at the age of 8 is wrapping up her second year at Missouri S&T, majoring in mechanical engineering. I often wonder how different her life would have been if I had chosen to stay in the failing, underfunded, overcrowded school district. It took a village of educators mentoring and tutoring to get her there. I know she wouldn't have received the same quality and quantity of education in an overcrowded and underfunded school. How do you want your legacy as an alderman to be remembered? Do you want to enable the overcrowding so our future engineers, nurses, teachers, union workers, accountants, carpenters, and attorneys fall through the cracks? Or do you want to enable our children to soar and spread their wings and have what they need to have a bright future ahead? I ask you to reflect before voting tonight and make a decision as if these were your own children. Thank you.
Daniel Perez.
Hello, Mayor. Hello, Board of Aldermen. My name is Daniel Perez. And I'm here to follow up just some math Some people others did it or did an amazing job. I am really, really happy with your presentation, but I figured why not? Um, as some people have said before, the numbers that have been presented throughout these 4 months have been all over the place, right? Even rent, $1,200, $2,000. But let's just keep it simple. We're talking about 190 units. The average is 1.94 children per family. So are we talking about 369 kids to be enrolled in the district? A typical school bus transports 54. So do we need 7 school buses? The average salary range for bus driver in Missouri is between 26,000 and 40,000. So on the low end, 6 bus drivers, you need $160,000 in salaries alone, and then leases, maintenance, insurance, fuel. The national average is 60%, so it's a little less, 221 kids, which means 4 buses, but that's still $106,000 per year without, again, the leases, the maintenance, and the insurance. $106,000, I think it's, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's more than the $83,000 that you're saying they're gonna get, so there is a deficit already. On the Fox News last night, the city anticipates again receiving $83,000 annually for personal property taxes. But then where does this number come from? It doesn't seem to coincide with our, citizens' estimates based on, Google searches. Yours should be more accurate, but it doesn't seem to be. Then if all 190 units have 1 car, then we're talking about, property taxes for 136 per unit. But then that number also seems to be high. Does everybody pay $480 for their vehicle? As my auditor have mentioned, and this is the 3rd bullet point, talking about estimates being all over the place. Her daughter will graduate from Missouri in 2025. Recent graduates have an average gross salary of $65,000. If we take away the taxes that she will pay, right, because she's not getting an abatement or Chapter 100 or anything, that means that she will net around $51,000 per year. She would need to contribute 30% of her net pay to afford a 1-bedroom, assuming that the 1-bedroom costs $1,200 per month. But we heard on ICD that that number could go, up to 2,000. So we don't even know. So she's definitely not the target. Although the original presentation said that it was going to be young professionals, she can't afford it. Then Amy and I, we own property. These rentals are higher than our mortgage right now. So maybe we're not the market either, even though at some point that's what was described. My mom, she's 65. She can't afford $1,200 on fixed retirement income. So she's not the target either. Then who is? We keep hearing all of these proposals and all of these promises and all these estimates and all these market research, and they all seem to be just trying to convince us of something that we're definitely not convinced. We have already started acting on, right? The presentation that I think Mr. Cook did at ICD pretty clearly left a bad taste in our mouth. We're not going to a certain emails anymore, and we're not going to the sugar fire anymore. And do you really think that we're going to go to any of the commerces that are proposed to be like, we're not, just because of this whole experience? So, I mean, it's not going to be the taxes for 12 years anyway, so I'm not hurting myself. You are. And then who knows where I'll be in 12 years when they will actually start paying taxes. Sorry for the long speech and all the boring math. I don't know.
Arnie Dinoff,
Good evening, members of the Board of Aldermen. My name is Arnie C. A.C. Dinoff, County Public Advocate. And during this whole concept of negotiating, you have just rushed it. You've rushed this agreement without thinking, and especially without thinking about the 15,000 residents of the city. In your March 23rd, 2023 FedEx letter to the supposed all the political subdivisions, I can tell you for a fact, you forgot to even notify one of the taxing districts, which is a violation of Chapter 100 of the revised state statutes. But Legal 101 says that the day count starts the next day, which would be the 24th. And you have failed under Chapter 100 of the revised state statutes to fully notify all political jurisdictions and give them a 20-day time window in which to prepare for this public hearing. You failed in the Federal Express letter to the taxing political subdivision districts. You failed to put the time of the public hearing in that dated letter, which I have a copy of those 19 pages. But unfortunately, now Mr. Angevine says there's 319 pages that Mr. Knowles and the mayor refused under Chapter 610, the Open Records Act, to disclose to the general public. And that's really concerning. I call for a state audit of the Missouri auditor, Scott Fitzgerald, to audit those 309 pages. You forgot to name the place and the address of the meeting. You failed to provide the statutory required 20-day notice. You know, Chapter 100 of the state statutes is a tax abatement for industrial revenue development bonds, not for residential living. Where's the industry here? I don't see it. Being misused and abused. $62 million over 19 years, plus sales tax exemptions. That's a crying shame for each one of you that may vote yes on this agreement. It's selfish, it's ridiculous, it's unconscionable, because none of the residents behind me got a tax abatement for their infrastructure, for their home. They didn't get their driveways paved, their pipes put in, their electric, their telephone. No one in this room got a tax abatement. But the mayor's all hummy chum chum with the developers over there at Town Pub in a published photograph that was on Facebook. The children, our future, are being affected here. And we heard from the superintendent and from the school board member. This is corporate greed, corporate welfare at its finest. You can't even do a public protest on a public sidewalk without the mayor calling the county police. And guess what? The county police showed up and said there's no violation of law. So don't do that again, Mr. Mayor. If we're going to show up at the meetings, construction costs by Tom Kamens and Tom Cook, 7 years they will pay off their mortgage on the backs of residents. More public welfare and this giveaways need to come to an end. But there's more to come in coming meetings. They want a community improvement district at a 1% sales tax, a transportation development district, and an additional 1% sales tax on all the other sales tax that already are out there. Hundreds of thousands of dollars in costs, administration, consultants, attorneys, and other expenses. You are making millionaires Tom Kamen and Tom Cook on their way to their first $1 billion. And that's on the backs of taxpayers and residents. This is a shame and a scheme over beers at the town pub. And I've been there, Mr. Mayor. I saw you have beers with Tom Kamens and Tom Cook. They bought your beers. While the community suffers, I ask that each one of you aldermen vote no with 0 tax abatements, 0 special taxing districts. This is the worst fraudulent negotiated agreement that I've ever seen in my tenure over these type of tax exempt bonds and tax abatements. The only winners here are Tom Kamens, Tom Cook, and their millionaire friends at Mia Rose. Do the right thing and vote no. Your residents have spoke loudly. Vote no and tell them to pay their own way. Thank you.
Ed, Ed. We'll probably be finished here by 8 o'clock. I mean,
12 minutes.
or is there more to speak?
There's no more
No,
speakers.
Oh,
that's it.
Are there any?
Okay.
The
So,
public
okay,
hearings? Are there any? public hearings?
no, okay, that's everybody. Okay,
On public comment.
is there anyone on public hearing? No one on
We have
public
no
hearing?
cards.
Okay, so we're gonna open a public hearing, and since there's no one here from Mia Rose to speak, we'll have a motion to continue the public hearing.
I got to open it first.
Well, we open it. Okay, motion to open the public hearing.
Second.
Justin, Mike seconds. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hear none, we're gonna open a public hearing. And since there's no one to speak on it, we're going to have a motion to close.
No,
Well,
no, no.
No, continue.
Second.
Got a motion by Dave, second by Casey, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're gonna continue the public hearing until the next meeting. Okay, new business.
Move to rebuild 23.
I'd like to say something before we get into new business.
Yep.
I'm embarrassed that you got that stat today. And it embarrasses me as an alderman, as a representative of the city. It embarrasses me that they didn't engage you earlier than they did. I'm embarrassed. I'm going to make a motion to delay reading this until we can seat the elected board that was elected and will be certified.
Okay, we have a motion to delay. Do I hear a second?
Second.
A second? All in favor?
I'd like a roll call vote.
Okay. Got a motion for a roll call vote?
Second.
Got a second? All in, okay. All right, Kim, would you call the roll?
Alderman Sansone.
Nay.
Alderman Riley.
No.
Alderman Johnson.
No.
Alderman Castlo.
Aye.
Alderman Ungerbach.
Aye.
Alderman Wondling.
Aye.
Okay, we got 4-2. The nays prevail.
To read bill 2315, first time by title only.
Got a motion to read Bill 2315 by title only for the first time. Got a second?
Second.
Got a second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Okay, the ayes have it. James, would you read Bill 2315 for the first time?
Sure. Bill 2315, an ordinance approving a master development and performance agreement in connection with the acquisition and construction of an industrial development project in the city of Dardenne Prairie, Missouri, authorizing the issuance of the city's taxable industrial revenue bonds, the Encore project, and an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $68 million for the purpose of providing funds to pay the cost of the project, approving a plan for the project, and authorizing certain other documents and actions connection therewith.
I'd like to comment on.
Okay.
I'm in favor of this. Excuse me. I'm in favor of this because I want Mia Rose to get with the school district to see if they can work out an agreement to get the taxes that they're asking for.
Getting there.
So with that, I believe in good faith, as that's what the school district asked for, that was one thing brought up in our discussions to pursue that, to let them have the opportunity to settle the tax issue, which seems to be the majority of the people here talking on, and then to see where that comes with, and to postpone the second reading of this motion.
Okay,
Instead of.
You making that motion now?
We got a motion to postpone the second reading. We have a motion to postpone the second reading and the vote until the next meeting.
Next meeting.
Okay.
I think EJ seconded.
EJ second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any
Aye.
opposed? You opposed?
Yes,
Okay.
Mayor. I'd like to
So-
make a motion that the second reading of this be done with the new elected officials, the new elected officers.
You already made that motion and it failed, but we can proceed if you
It's
want
been
to.
read once. Now I'd like to say that a motion to have the second reading done by the newly elected alder people.
Okay. It failed on the first reading. Your motion to have it voted on by the new board. Okay, so do we want to? You want to take a vote on it? I mean, it's already been postponed, so it's.
Made at the next meeting.
Pardon?
The motion should be made at the next meeting.
Yeah, that motion should be made at the next meeting when it's read the second time. Okay, we,
It could be a special meeting, who knows? Take your head down. How many special meetings?
It's next
does it have?
Wednesday. It's next Wednesday, the regularly scheduled meeting.
okay, so
Moving to rebuild 2316 for the first time.
got a motion to rebuild 2316 for the first time.
Second.
Got a second by EJ?
Yes.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Okay, the ayes have it. James, will you rebuild 2316 for the first time by
Bill.
title only?
Sure. Bill 2316, an ordinance establishing the Encore Community Improvement District and authorizing certain actions and documents in connection therewith.
Okay, any discussion or debate?
We can postpone to the April 19th meeting.
Okay, we got a motion to postpone Bill 2316 until the next meeting.
Second.
Got a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, hearing none, we're gonna postpone Bill 2316 till the next meeting. Okay, got a motion to rebuild 2317 for the first time.
So moved.
Second.
Good. Justin, EJ seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, we'll rebuild 2317 for the first time. James?
Bill 2317, an ordinance authorizing the city administrator to enter into an intergovernmental agreement with the city of O'Fallon, Missouri for certain roadway improvements.
Any discussion or debate?
Move to postpone to the April 19th meeting.
Got a motion to postpone Bill 2317 until the April 19th meeting.
Second.
Got a second? Mark? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, we're gonna postpone Bill 2317 till the April 19th meeting, next meeting. Staff communications, city attorney,
I have none, Mayor.
city engineer is there, city administrator,
I have nothing.
alderman.
I have a couple comments I'd like to make. Again, I want to apologize to the school district. I want to apologize to the residents that this hasn't, all the special meetings that we've had to have, all you people having coming out. There's just been too many negotiations going on. I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Got a motion to, I have no comments. Move, got a motion to close, meeting, or move to adjourn, got a motion, got a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the board, the special board of Alderman meeting is adjourned. Now we'll turn it over to planning and zoning.
I'll move over to this. Which.
Everything that we spoke to in the media. Side, you're not gonna put the right numbers out. But the conversations, the long conversations we get with the school, I'm sorry, I really don't need to get on camera and say anything that you think I made. Sorry, it never gets. Yes. Right, it's such a suicide now, I guess. Okay. I was not invited to this.